this is Tridib and you are watching a brand new episode of Learn with Tridib. In this particular episode, I will show you some amazing micro animations in Figma. So why this idea of creating these micro animations happened in the first place? In a recent UX UI design community, people were discussing about a specific animation and they felt that this animation must have been done with any video editing tool and not in Figma. While you won't get a very smooth animation where there is a morph of the shape is happening in Figma or in Adobe XD, but you can have at least 85 to 90% of the same effect in Figma. Please understand that over Figma or Adobe XD, we don't usually try to achieve an animated extravaganza or animated masterpiece. Figma or Adobe XD are mostly used for prototyping, not even a final output of a website or an app, nor it is an animation tool. So we should expect what is expected from a particular type of app, not do something which is not their core competency. So somebody tries to create amazing graphics, amazing vector graphics in Figma or using Adobe XD tools. While they are fantastic, those graphics are fantastic, and we can really create high quality vector graphics using Figma or Adobe XD, but that is not their main job. Their main job is to create wireframes. Their main job is to create prototype. I think we should be happy if we are able to create a decent animation that gives your developer the idea that why you are creating a particular type of animation. They should know that when they are doing it in the real time, they should be expected to get something nearby, something like that type of animation, not exactly a high-end video animation over there, because interactivity and video animation are two different aspects. But what we have achieved over here and how to achieve the entire effect, I will showcase in this particular video. These are micro videos and these are micro interactivities as well. So I think we should stick to that and let us see how we can achieve this type of effects. But before we deep dive, again a gentle request to like, share and comment on this video, and if you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you can get all your upcoming notifications. So without much ado, let's get started. So let's start and see how this type of effect, which I will be demoing you very soon, can be achieved with Figma. So let us first jump into our prototype and see what type of effects we were talking about. So let's play. So if you see the first flow, let's first fit it to the screen. So this is example one. So this is one type of example where you see when you roll over, this entire rectangular box actually sunks in and the particular object or the icon holder actually pops up. So one thing sunks in and the icon pops up. The rectangular sinks in and the icon pops up. In the flow 2, it is also the same way, but over here there is a good amount of distortion that happens and the same effect of the rectangle getting sunk in and the object getting popped up. This is another type of example that you can see. Let's see the flow 3. It is a mobile output, a mobile screen, and see how this thing happens. happens. But over here, when you are going to the next layer, it is the animation is not stopping over here, but there is a distortion that happens on the rectangle itself. Again, it sinks in, it protrudes, it sinks in, it protrudes, it sinks in, and the effect goes in like this. Okay, so this type of effect is also possible. So this is not exactly what After Effects, you need not to have After Effects for this, you can do it in Figma. And similarly, there is another variation of this thing where there is no first stage where all the things are down, but definitely we have a active state of one button is already popped up, and then the other buttons are popping up when you hover the mouse over them. So this does not have a first stage where all the buttons are inactive. It's not like that. It has already one button active and the other buttons pops up and the shape changes based on where you roll over your mouse or hover your mouse. So let's see how we can achieve this type of uh, animation, this type of effects using Smart Animate in Figma. So usually what I do, let's hop to our design phase and let's see how I do those things. Usually I work always with components and its variants. So in this particular video, I will not go in depth of how to create a component and how to create a variant. I already understand or accept, assume that you know how to create a variant and component. So over here, I have four states of the four variants of the component. In the first one, we have a shape, a rectangle shape. If you open, you will see a rectangle shape with with three circles inside it. Okay, and three icons. Okay, the next step is where if you go inside the component, you will see that I have a subtract something written over here. So what is this subtract and how it happens? Okay, let me quickly show you how to create this type of shapes um, in Figma. So you create a rectangle like this. Okay, very simple. So you put in say um, 45, something like that. For us, we can create a 25. It totally depends upon what type of shape you want. So it is like this. It's 25. Let me check it like that. I go to ellipse and select an ellipse over here and draw a ellipse like this. Okay, it's totally up to us what type of shape you want. So for me, I have taken this ellipse, make it a little bigger. Okay, select these two and you go over here for Boolean groups and click on subtract selection. So you see you get a shape which is a subtracted part of the entire thing. And the best part is that you can move around the shape and the shape will follow wherever you take the shape to. Okay, so it is like this. Move on. The shape and this curve also, this boolean also moves along with you. So that's the way you can do it. And again, you can give a 120 shape to give it a much more curved look. You can select these two things and you can give it a shape like this. If you want to restrict the shape to, you can do also 80 sort of thing. So this type of curves comes in, and now you can use it so you can have different variation of the same curve like this, and can move this thing, move this circle, hold this circle over here and move it to the center. See how the shape moves like this. Okay, and similarly you can have another shape of this same thing. Just take a copy of this subtract. Need to copy this subtract like this. So sorry, select the subtract, alt shift and do another copy. So you have 3 copies of the same thing. You just need to go to the ellipse over here, and also with your shift key you can take it to the other side. Lovely. Your shapes are done. So you can now put your circles over here, your icons over here, and you can get those things animated. So I have created these circles, these icons separately and have placed, and while I have created each one of these shapes, I have converted them individually to components. The component 1, component 2. So these are all the components that I have created. After I have created these components, I converted the entire components to variants. So while you select all these components, if you can select all these components, you can actually see in the right hand side that, see, there is a variance, that since now you have created this variance with these 4 components, you can see these 4 components part of this variant. Now to animate these stuffs, you have to go to your prototype and you have to click each one of the circle to get them animated. Okay, so prototypes options you can see, and you can see that these things are all, you can actually animate these stuffs. Okay, so you can just select each one of these shapes like this, and you can actually draw the links to each and every uh, component states. Okay, so similarly, see, I have what I have done. There are other ways of doing too. Once you can do it with the component states or the variant states, or else you can also do it through multiple um, frames. Okay, so I have copied all the variants, but not individually. What I have done, I have dragged the component over here from my asset folder here. Okay, so if I click over here, you know that this is the asset folder. So I can just click on the component that I have over here, and I drag it inside the uh, in the frame. Okay, and once I have it over there, I can now individually drag these points to animate each and every state. So once I drag a component, say for here example, I drag a component over here. See, the component name is 12, which is here this component. Okay, and see what we can also do with it. If I click on this place, I can actually select which states I want to have of the component. Okay, so I believe for many of you who are following this particular uh, video, you will find that there is a certain jump and certain speed in the entire video process. It is because I already assumed that you know how to create components. If you really want to know how to create components and their variations or variants, you can always ask me. I will create a separate video regarding the same, but this is a very advanced video states. So it is a simple process the way you create animation. Always remember this thing, that you have to click on each of the circles over here, go over there and select while hovering. While you click on while hovering, also you have to ensure that the smart animate is selected from here. And once the smart animate is selected, you have to also give a custom. You can actually choose from any one of these ease in ease out, but I always prefer to use this type of custom um, animation, custom animation style. I will keep the timer to 300 millisecond, for which within which the animation will take place. So now when I actually run this thing, you will see that fit to screen how it animates. Okay, so pretty simple. Okay, always remember one thing which is very important, is that if you don't keep these alignments, the distribution, and if there is any sort of shape shift, then smart animate will not work. Smart animate will only work if your all the alignment and distributions are perfect. There is no here and there movement of the object. If there wobbles, smart animate takes it a dissolve, and it will do a dissolve animation instead of a smart animation. Okay, if you see this one, I have done the exact same thing, but over here the curve is pretty very sharp inside. It's not like this one. It is more oval is a circular. It is more curved in that way, but the effect is again the same. It's again the same. Okay. Also, if you see this one, there are certain changes that I have, that extra things that I've added. So over here, what I have done, if I go to the design phase, I have added these humps over here, like camel hump. I have added this hump over here, so that whenever there is this extra space that is happening in this cases also, this empty space is happening, this hump animation will play. This hump animation will play, so that when you are moving from here to here and your mouse is over here, this space, there will be a subtle animation over here, so that it is a continuous phase. Okay, so let's see how this animation works. So this is your that particular component, and what I have done over here, I've added some subtle shadow over here, so that it just protrudes a little up over here. Okay, now see, let's see what type of animation happens when I do these things. I go to prototype, play, and see. If I'm over here, it sunks in. I move to the next one, it protrudes up. I go to the next one, it sunks in. I go to the next one, protrudes up, sunks in. Lovely. This is more near to what was shown in the video that you guys have been discussing so far. So this is that animation that you can do. Okay, so that's all. So if you are well versed with how to create um, a component and it variants, it is very easy for you to create this type of stuffs. Okay, so I usually use components and variants. Okay, so you can also follow my instructions how I do it, and you can get your result. Okay, there is nothing um, rocket science in this. So you can have these three things like this. Let me just quickly show you this is the additional stuff for those who cannot follow my instruction. I know I have gone a bit faster over here. The reason is that I have already taken into consideration that you know how to create variants and components. Okay, so basically. So always remember to check their height and all these things. So simple. So now I will create a component. I'm not putting any icon over here. Control Alt K to create components. K to create components. And I select all of them. And if you see, I select all of them. And if you see in the right hand side, combine as variants. So I click and combine it as variants. So these are the three variants that I have. And now why this component is created, I will go to prototype and I will just create the prototype thing. Double click on this object and drag it to the second one. Okay, and change to while hovering. Similarly for this one, change to while hovering, and always remember to change it to smart animate. Similarly this one to smart animate. This one over here, change to while hovering, smart animate. This one also over here, change while hovering, smart animate. And similarly for this one, hovering and smart animate, hovering and smart animate. That's the way it should work. Okay, and also another thing that we have to be very clear about is that you can actually change the easing is out to custom, which I always do. I like this type of custom. See, I will always use this thing. So I can just copy and paste the same custom animation. Just go to custom and paste it over here. Okay. Same thing I can do over here. Instead of easing is out, I can just go to place custom. Same thing. Okay, all of them. So it's a way you can put the same custom animation to everybody. Just need to copy paste this thing. That's it. Don't ever forget to do for all of them, otherwise you will get different effect for every animation. So be careful with that. Okay, yeah. So I think I've covered all of them. Lovely. So now your next thing is that you create an artboard over here. Lovely. And you see this component 17 has already gone to your um, asset. This component 17, let's find out which is this. This is component 17. Drag it over here. Okay, like this. And let's see, we run it. Let's see how it works. If I have done everything perfectly, you will get the right effect. If I have not done it perfectly, then I'm sorry, I have not selected this frame. If I have not done it correctly, there will be wobbling that will happen if everything is done perfectly. See, perfect, works neat. So it totally depends upon what type of effect you want. So this is another effect that you can do it very neatly. Okay. So that's all folks for today. I think this is quite interesting way, and with if you have your knowledge of how to create a component with um, control alt k, and if you are able to create variants, I think this animation will be much more easier and faster for you guys. So that's all folks. Hope you have liked this video. If you have really liked this video, kindly like, share and comment on this video. And if you're new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you can get all our upcoming notifications. Till we meet again with some amazing animated UX UI interfaces in Figma or Adobe XD. Goodbye and God bless.